So the poem that I was assigned is poem number 6, and even though it's a really short poem, it's also an extremely loaded poem that has a lot of thought-provoking ideas in it. Now, because it's so short, I was thinking I would read it 3 separate times with the hope that you could be inspired by a different thought each time I read it like I was. Obviously, I read it more than 3 times, but even as I continue to read it now, looking for more ideas that are being expressed in this poem, or could be being expressed or intended in this poem, thought was a pretty cool thing. Alright, so here's the first one. Nature and nature's law lay hid in night. God said, "Let Newton be," and all was light. Again, nature and nature's laws lay hid in night. God said, "Let Newton be," and all was light. One last time. Nature and nature's laws lay hid in night. God said, "Let Newton be," and all was light. This poem is an incredible work because it's so short and yet it says so much in just 2 lines. The poem was written by Alexander Pope, and it was absolutely intended to be like an extremely high commendation given by Pope to Isaac Newton. And my interpretation of what Pope's trying to say and do with this poem is that he's kind of taking like a biblical story and putting Isaac Newton into it, the biblical story being from the book of Genesis. He's making a statement about Isaac Newton being a completely pure creation from God, and very pivotal creation at that. Similar to the idea of God creating light, that would be a really highly regarded creation, much like Isaac Newton should also be a really highly regarded creation. Another idea that I kind of had in the times that I read it is, even on like a greater scale than that, I saw a possible comparison being made between Isaac Newton and potentially Jesus Christ. With that, the idea being that the first line of the poem says, nature and nature's law lay hid in night. The comparison that I kind of made was that was the world kind of hidden in sin before Jesus Christ, much like nature was before Isaac Newton. I'm out in my backyard now, sitting under my pepper tree at night, specifically. I'm particularly fond of this tree, and I thought it could be a significant symbol for both nature in the concepts of this poem and a symbol for the work that Isaac Newton did. The other reason I'm sitting out here under the tree at night is I thought it could be a powerful symbol for nature and nature's law lay hid in night. The tree being a symbol for nature being hid in night, kind of the idea I was going for. In looking at like the idea of the worldview that could be associated with this poem and some of the other poems, religion was absolutely one of the main driving forces behind anything worldview from this time. And art and the arts were also hugely pivotal in what influenced the world. it was kind of an interesting idea to me that in an era where a worldview was so focused on these other concepts, and the work of Isaac Newton was such a powerful concept that it also kind of integrated into this worldview and influenced a lot of these poems. All right, thanks.